Check, check. Check 1, 2. Check. Let's get into it. Updates, new year, new updates, new things not working like they're supposed to work. Come on. Oh, man. All right, well, hey, folks. Welcome back to Surely Sound Studio. My name's Martin. You can call me Marty. This is my show. So let's go. What's happening today? How's everybody doing? When's Bitcoin gonna moon, right? Totally. Well, I'll tell you right now, I took a long this morning, but I already closed it. Full transparency. And nice little bounce here, but not looking too strong so far. I mean, let's zoom out a little bit here. We've obviously got this consolidation happening, and I mean, honestly, you know, we've got higher lows, so that's okay looking, but from where this comes from, this is looking pretty bearish. So we want to see we're going to wait for one of two things here. We're either going to break above here and we're going to continue to move higher and fill this gap, or we're going to break below here and we're going to continue to move lower. And honestly, it could go either way. Liquidity up here that they're probably going to want to get because before moving lower, but also liquidity right here, lots of liquidity, and it's really not that far away. So it would be sweet to see we actually come down and get the low liquidity first. What are you doing over there? You have to wear your mask. You're a ladybug. I got ladybug in the studio today. You have to wear your mask. She's a streamer in training today. But anyways, yeah, it'd be nice to come down and get this liquidity first, because then if we do that, then that's better chances of going up, better chances of people going short because they think that the price is going to go to zero, and then that provides liquidity to the upside for us to come and grab, for the market to come and grab, and then we're just going to do whatever the market does because we don't make the rules, we just follow them. The market makes the rules, and if we want to benefit from it, we don't try and fight it. Don't fight it. We objectively think and make decisions based on what the market's telling us, and we go with the flow. And I mean, yeah, people that try and fight it, they're gonna suffer. It's crazy how popular going against the flow is in this world, but people tend to do it. I get it. I did it for 20 years. And then you're fighting, and you eventually you realize, like, okay, well, I don't know if we can beat them, guys. Let's join them. No, I've told many people over the years that I've joined the dark side, and it's like, it's honestly true a little bit, because the financial markets have what ruined the entire world. Global trade, all this stuff has ruined the world. But I'm trying to do so in a way that will hopefully benefit everybody, because if we all understand how it works, and we will all win. It's the lack of education that leads to the wealth inequality. If everybody had the education, it wouldn't be as messed up as it is. Nice picture. Very nice picture, Elsa. I think you got a little bit more coloring to do. It's not quite finished. I want to see it finished. Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, I'm trying to get on here and educate, and I think we can make the world a better place, especially if we all educate ourselves and study Bitcoin and decentralization versus centralization. Because a lot of things are going on in politics, like they always do, and it's like people get so bent out of shape, and it just blows my mind. It's like one way or another, left this is this, left right. It's like, no, it's wrong. There's no left, there's no right. It's both wrong. Okay, it's, if anything, okay, Emery, you're right, there is right or left, but not what I'm talking about. If anything, there's top versus bottom, right? If you want to do the left and right thing, if anything, it's top versus bottom. And honestly, it's educated versus uneducated kind of thing, right? Into how the system works. Not just saying people are dumb, but just they're just not educated how the system works, right? So the people that know how the system works want to keep the people that don't know how the system works fighting against each other, so that they don't realize how the system works and benefit from them and take from the rich, right? Because there's only so much to go around. Of course, we do print every day, so the amount going around is more and more, but it tends to all end up in the same place, and that's the educated people who know how the system works and rise to the top. You can definitely come from the bottom, come from nothing, if you have the proper education within 10 years and get, especially in this hyperinflation type era that we're living in, where they just print uncontrollably. It's about the easiest time in human history to have your money make more money, because it's losing value so fast, right? So if you do that properly by holding assets of any kind, and then borrow against those assets tax-free, and make sure that everything's protected properly, then it's not that hard. They want to make it seem like it's hard because they don't want you to learn it, but it's not. That's just on a general aspect. Where's Bitcoin going to go? When moon, right? Well, I tell you, it's probably not for a while. You need to say something. Okay, take the mic. What would you like to say?
My dad loves Bitcoin.
That's funny. It's been ever since we've changed to a Bitcoin standard, our standard of living has gotten a lot better. So I do love that. But what I'm most appreciative is the knowledge of the asset and the knowledge of why the asset performed the way it did. That is really what's made everything click for me. It starts off by buying a house, an asset. It appreciates in price, and then all of a sudden people are like, we'll give you some money if you want to lump in tax-free. You're like, what? What? That's the thing? And then you figure that out, and then you're like, okay, this asset thing is cool. And then you find a tangible asset with smaller capital that you can build over time. And then you're planting these seeds everywhere, and then you're just watching these plants grow. And over time, it's quite rewarding, very fun and fulfilling. Gets rid of any sort of anxiety or depression. I'll tell you that for free, because you just know everything's gonna be okay. Now, is everything gonna be okay? That's the question, because I tell you folks, I've been saying this for a while now. 2026 is gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild, okay? We're at the bottom of the hyperinflation apex. It's coming. You can't argue it. It's math. It's happened to every other currency in the past. It's gonna happen to this one. So we hedge against it by holding assets. And when you see the number of dollars double in 5 years, and it took 100 years for that to happen before, you know that something's gonna give, and it's gonna give soon. So we have to be prepared. We have to pay attention to the things that matter. Stop paying attention to things that don't matter. And I think it's funny that a lot of people are now saying that they're not paying taxes because of fraud. That is a thing that I've seen in the spaces lately. Nobody's paying taxes anymore because of fraud. Because, well, first of all, okay, That's you got the right. Standing up against the fraud is the right idea. Not paying taxes. I'm curious how you're gonna go about doing that. Like, you're just not gonna file, because like if you're getting paid by an employer, they're paying your taxes on your paycheck. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of already paying taxes. If you want to try and not pay taxes, you gotta go through your employer's secretary and like, hey, I don't take taxes off my check anymore. And they're gonna be like, well, we have to pay taxes as a business, so we're probably not going to do that. And if you want to do that, then you can probably leave. Right? So I guess if you're an entrepreneur and you have, the thing is that if you're an entrepreneur and you have a lot of money and you make money, you don't pay taxes anyways, because everything's write off. So it's like the people who are at the bottom are the ones that pay taxes. Again, like the uneducated people that are stressing over everything are the ones that pay taxes. If you understand how the system works, you live off borrowed money and you leverage everything. You don't pay taxes, right? So it's really interesting, but this is the kind of thing that I think is going to lead to a financial crisis, right? So it's almost like they're pushing this into the 2026 financial crisis. Nobody paid taxes, so we couldn't afford everything, blah, 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 fraud here, there, money. There's money everywhere, but there's money nowhere. It's like, okay, so obviously there's an issue, there's a problem, and guess what? We provide the solution. Blockchain technology.
There's money in Langford Monopoly.
There's money in Langford Monopoly. That's right. And you know what's funny is the money in Langford Monopoly is about the exact same money that we use in Langford the city. Or wherever you live. Canada. United States. Fiat currency. It's all just printed paper backed by nothing.
My dad wasn't born in Canada.
Thanks for the facts. That's all we spit here is facts. It's true. I wasn't born in Canada. I moved to Canada. I should say. Anyways, we're not here for my backstory. We're here to try and learn about what's going to happen. So we're talking about what's going to happen. And the 2026 financial crisis is underway. And of course, okay. Stick to your freaking coloring, bro. You're setting me off track here. Goodness. Where's your mother? God damn. Definitely play Monopoly with your kids. It's very, very, very good for them to play Monopoly and learn how it works. It's a very good game to hone those skills. And also for counting and accounting and all that stuff. Yes, the banker always wins. That's right. The banker always wins. And that's who owns your politicians, just so you know, right? If you don't know that, it doesn't matter left or right. It's wrong. The bankers own the politicians. Think about think about one of the people. Think about a person. Everybody knows this person. Probably holds one of the largest debts to the bankers. And then think about that person's position. And then think about, so they own this person. And then think about that person's position and the things that he's capable of doing, right? Just think about it. He's in their pocket. It's never been easier for them to do what they want to do because this man has been indebted to them for decades. And now he's in a position where he can do what they want to do. Okay, you have the central banks invading countries to take over the financial system there, right? It's I don't know, it's obvious is if you, I don't know. I don't even know what to tell you, but Bitcoin, it's going to suffer. It's going to suffer. Okay, we have broken the uptrend. We are now, best case scenario here, if we break up, we come up and we look for 113,000, maybe 117,000. Somewhere in here is where we're going to find most of our resistance. Now, if we break above here and we continue higher, well then, wow, that's something has given in the system. Something has given and a lot of money has been printed. But what's most likely to happen is we come up and get rejected by this area. And if we see a rejection here, then of course, think about it. Think about what like this would be a pretty good playbook. If we break up out of here, because a lot of people think we're going to break down, so there's a lot of liquidity down here. Imagine if we break up out of here, everybody gets super bullish. Oh, we're going all-time highs. The narrative flips. Things are going to be better. The fraud's going to be taken care of. It's going to be okay. And then we see a rejection from here, and then the whole script just flips again, and boom, lower low. And we just end up hope, but it's not. It's the market makers grabbing the liquidity before coming lower. So it's all a narrative. It's all controlled by the markets, and the narrative are all controlled. And so you get to see what they want you to see to try and make you buy up here so that they can sell. And then we go lower. And honestly, on the weekly, that's when we were just on, right? On the weekly, like, this looks pretty bad. If we were saying last week it could come back up to here to touch the EMAs, that makes sense. We always like to come back to the EMAs. But then most likely you get stuck under the EMA. What are we at right now? On the 15. Where's the 15? Ooh, good thing we closed the long. We might get long again if we can hold and continue to bounce here, because we could continue to grind up. The long is definitely what I'm looking for if we can get up on top of this high volume node here and then come and fill some inefficiencies, right? So I might be looking for a long unless we lose it. Focus on your own stuff. I got my own stuff going on over here. I don't need your manipulation of my ear. Thank you very much. I will do what I want to do because I think for myself. You should think for yourself too. Yes, we love a lot of things. We love life. Life is amazing. We are a soul that gets to experience the human body, and should never be taken for granted, and it should be lived and fulfilled to its fullest. Let's go. to human life. I'm stoked for the Jays. Yes, we're not getting into the Jays yet, Em. Okay, settle down. It's going to be a good season. We're looking forward for the World Baseball Classic first. We're going to see how the boys are looking and all their different teams for their countries. I'm stoked for the World Baseball Classic. No, I don't. But anyways, when moon, probably not for a while. Just long story short. But we got to pay attention and see, right? Because things can change. I think I'm very curious to see like how this financial crisis is going to unfold, because Bitcoin was designed because of the 2008 financial crisis, so to speak, right? Some sort of manageable asset that's tangible for everybody, instantly liquid, and you can buy with as little as $10. All right, so you need very little value to get. Very little value to get into Bitcoin. You need a lot of value to get into the real estate market. You need a lot of value, somewhat, to get into mediocre value to get into precious metals. But then you also need somewhere to keep it. So it's a very interesting time. 2026 is going to be life-changing. The charts are really like, I don't want to like doom and gloom. I don't want to doom and gloom too much, but let's just see. Like, we have money flow about to hit the red, and so last time money flow hit the red. So then if you look at it even just on a cycle-based schedule, we had the all-time high, we came down pretty aggressively, and now we're consolidating. And it makes it look like we go higher, but we go lower, right? So all-time high, pretty aggressive turn down, consolidating, makes it look like it's going to go higher, but probably going to go lower, right? Right at the same time, money flow is coming out. Money flow is coming out. We're underneath the 50 on the RSI. We're underneath the 50, underneath the 200 moving. This right here, this breakdown and retest, that was your, basically, if you're a long-term holder, or a long-term trader, I should say, not a long-term holder. Long-term holders just hold, and that's fine. But if you want to pay attention a little closer, that right there was your sell signal to sell everything, which I didn't sell everything because you know how we did it. We take some profits up here. We had some fun this summer. And then we let the rest ride, and we start to DCA back in when we get into our zones, which are probably marked on here. Yeah, so technically already in the previous DCA zone for after we broke up here when we were DCAing in here, but good chance that we're probably going to come and go lower. So we could, let's see if we can move this box. DCA zone now is probably all down in here. all down in here and then come back and find some balance down in this area here. And yeah, so just judging by money flow, right? Because that's what we really want to understand is if money's flowing into an asset, it's going to rise in price. If money's flowing out of an asset, it's going to drop in price. But because of inflation, when money flows out, these are just people taking profits that bought way down here, taking profits. So we can do the same thing. We can buy down here. We can take our profits up here. It always does the same thing because human greed is going to push prices higher than they should go and potentially put prices lower than they should go. And then adjusted for inflation, we're always going up. So the long-term holders will always win. They just probably have to play a little bit of a longer game. But I mean, honestly, it's not going to be that long with the way that they're printing money these days. So it's really, the DCA strategy is really a win-win over the long term. And that's the best way to get in, is just to start DCAing. And honestly, right now, if you don't have any Bitcoin, you're not buying the top. So if you're questioning whether it's a good time to buy Bitcoin, I mean, we just went down 30, almost 40%, and now we're sitting around 27% down from all-time high. So you are not buying the top, and so you're probably buying somewhere around in here. If you want a future forecast of what potentially is going to happen, you're DCAing, right? You're not putting it all in at once and just waiting. You're using it's in your budget. The DCA value is in your budget that you're going through monthly, weekly, whatever you're going through. Everything's personal for your own strategy. Just do it all percentage based, and it doesn't matter what the final number is. If you do it all percentage based, then that'll work with you forever through inflation, through prices rising and dropping. If you're doing it on a percentage base, that's why we have percent, right? It makes you just makes everything relatable. Okay, well, the numbers are going to change, but it's always 5% of this, or it's always 10% of this. Okay, and that is very helpful to understand, especially when you're talking about pairs, comparing prices, understanding percent. What this is worth now compared to what it was worth 2 weeks ago, compared to what it's worth 2 years ago. Percentages, understand percentages, decimal points, moving the zero, all that sort of stuff. The math, the good stuff. Oh yeah, the cowbell. Let's go. Da-na-na-na. What are you doing? Is that lowrider? Nice, good one. I like that. But yeah, so this is basically drawing out the perfect scenario for some sort of news event, and then the news events are going to be like just blamed. Like the charts are already telling you what's going to happen, okay? Because of where the money's going. Remember, who controls the money is who controls everything. Like I don't care who makes the laws. If I control the money, I control the situation. Oh, nice. We will rock you. Solid. So don't get too bent out of control about your lawmaker, because they really have no power. Okay, the bankers are the ones that are pulling the strings. So understand. And Canada just freaking elected a banker for their prime minister, and that's sketchy. Not a good idea. I don't know much about the guy, but as soon as you tell me he's a banker, that's no bueno. They're the reason we're in this mess, okay? They're the greedy ones that are taking from you and giving to their friends, themselves and their friends. Just go look at the books. Go look at where the money's gone. Go look at their net worths. Go look at how much money they should have and how much money they do have. But I think it's going to be okay, right? Because, I don't know. Honestly, if we can't get out of this little range here, because this is quite a bit of resistance right here, and if we can't get out of here, that's not looking good. Then we're going to be shorting. We're going to be shorting down here. I tried to, like I said, to take the long this morning, but man, it's really not looking like it wants to do much. And that weekly just looks terrible. Absolutely terrible. Basically what this says is, of course we could pump, but we're selling into pumps, because that is money flowing out, and any pumps are just trade liquidations. So speaking of liquidations, let's have a look at the map. Right, so we got some below and high, and that's another thing too. Let's zoom out. So this is basically the same as this right here, but you can see not a lot of liquidity up here, not a lot of interest in Bitcoin right now. little bit of the all-time highs, but we would have to be a serious money printing event for us to get back up there right now. With the interest rates been coming down, they're usually a lagging indicator of the economic environment. So there's a good chance that we will see somewhat of a recession. I mean, we've been technically, if you look at the numbers, in a recession for a long time now, but it hasn't really related to people's spending and stuff. And so we'll see how it goes. They're trying to get rid of, they're really trying a lot to, like, you've heard of quantitative easing coming. They're really trying for a soft landing. And that's what it's all about, is their job is to try and stop a economic crash, right? But the thing is that they've realized that they benefit from the economic crashes because they know when they're going to happen, because they control whether we soft or hard land based on money printing and interest rates and adding to the supply or subtracting to the supply. Okay, so that's how they control it. And they all got so rich in 2020, 2021. So, like, why wouldn't they do it again, right? Why wouldn't they do it again? So we always got to be aware for that. But the thing that is the best about Bitcoin is that it has only 21 million cap supply. Now, everything in the world that we compare everything to has a controllable supply or a limitless supply, one way or another. We have gold was our hardest asset, but we can mine more gold from the ground. If the price goes up, the dredges turn on, we add to the supply. If the housing market goes up, they build more houses. It's supposed to make it cheaper when they build more houses, but of course they buy them just as fast as they build them so that it doesn't crash the market. Again, they're controlling the market. Bitcoin is the one thing that we have as a human race that cannot be controlled via the supply. For the price to get pushed down, people actually have to go to their wallets, pull money out, put it on an exchange, and sell it. Okay, nothing new can be created. There's only what's being created via the miners, and that's being halved every year. And we're already at 19.4 million created or whatever. So we only have less than 2 million to still be created, and we've probably lost, like, arguably, I don't know, 7 million. Who knows, right? Like, so it's I don't know, like, if you know how supply and demand works, then Bitcoin is king. That's the reason why we call Bitcoin the king, because you can't manipulate it via the supply, by at least adding and subtracting to the supply, which is how stocks and everything else are manipulated. A business can issue more stock if the price goes up, and in turn it pushes the stock price down, right? So everything can be manipulated, but Bitcoin cannot via the supply. So it's the best indicator of inflation, basically, because when money gets printed, it goes up because that money is devaluing and it's reflecting in the price of Bitcoin by price of Bitcoin going up. Now, what's going to make the price of Bitcoin continue potentially go down here this year is the hardship that people are going to suffer, and they're going to be forced to sell their Bitcoin to just survive, because economic times are already not doing great, which I still don't understand too, because I see help wanted signs and people asking me to do jobs a lot, but so I don't understand how people don't have jobs and stuff. Like, maybe you have to educate yourself a bit more, get yourself a bit more of a resume. I don't know. Like, I see a lot of help wanted signs out there. So I don't think it's an economic problem as far as people not having the ability to work. I just think people don't want to work. And I get that. We talked about that last week with the money not being hard that they're working for. So psychologically, whether they know it or not, they don't want to work because the money's not buying them anything. So it's like, oh, what's the point? Right? But if you understand Bitcoin and you realize that you can work for something hard, then it will ignite your want to work and provide value, and which will ignite the economy. So hopefully everybody gets educated about hard money, and then you work as hard as you can to accumulate as much hard money as you can, and your life gets better. Like, and then it's just everything gets better after that. I don't know what else to tell you, folks. I don't know what to tell you. Just, you got to understand the hard money, you know, gold, silver, precious metals of any kind, anything that's needed. But I do believe that we're moving into the digital era, and we're already in the digital era. So it's like, why would we go back to candlelit Christmas trees when we can use the new digital LEDs, right? The LEDs won't burn your Christmas tree down. I don't think. I mean, the Mythbusters put like 1 million Christmas lights on a tree and it didn't burn. I'm pretty sure. That was a great show. Shout out to the Mythbusters. That was a great era to be alive. The Mythbusters era. That was awesome. All right. Well, Ghostbusters. Also great stuff. Time we've been streaming for half an hour. When's Bitcoin gonna moon? We talked about that. Probably not for a while, because economic situations and people's attitude towards everything is just not good. The whole tax revolting and the fraud and all this stuff is nothing. There's a lot of manipulation. It's not good. But I do want to point out one thing. If anything, you take anything out of this, what we're seeing with all this fraud and pushback, and to create hard economic times, Canada talking about how you're going to have to like lower your standard of living. It's like, it's all BS, right? But think about it. They're trying to force you to sell your bags. We know that the future is digital. We know that the future is blockchain based. The best thing that is on the blockchain is Bitcoin. So they want to accumulate as much of it as they can. So you have to remember this. The people are going to use their power to try and push you out of selling your bags because they can't issue more Bitcoin. So what you want to do is understand how it works, have that same attitude, and whenever you can, accumulate a little bit here and a little bit there, because over the long term, that's their goal now. We know that. BlackRock and the big wigs are trying to accumulate as much Bitcoin as we can. Life is going to be on the blockchain. I've been talking about this for half a decade, and it's been obviously the future for almost 2 decades now. And whether you've figured it out 15 years ago or you figured it out 15 minutes ago, it's inevitable. It's happening. We're watching it happen. A lot of the things that we said on Your Future Hand for Biggs and Boggs, or with Biggs and Boggs, is actually happening right now. We're talking about the top potentially just getting soaked up by the bigwigs. Everybody that's been in for 10 plus years is like, okay, here's another top 4-year cycle, offload the bags, and then who's picking them up? BlackRock and Fidelity. So are we going to see a 60% drawdown? Probably not, because we already are seeing massive buys, even just under 90K. We're seeing massive buys. Lots of people are coming in, but of course they don't want to just give it away for free. So they are going to still manipulate the market to try and accumulate as much as they can. So that's what you need to understand. That's what we need to stick to as far as a mindset. The goal is to accumulate as much hard assets as you can, because the dollar is going to zero. So work as hard as you can and accumulate assets of all kinds. And then once you do that, you can get into the whole borrowing money tax-free against your assets. And then life is gravy. For me, it's gluten-free, and it's amazing. All right, folks, have yourself a good Sunday. Make sure to get outside, touch grass, and speak out loud what you're grateful for, and send those positive vibes to the universe, and the universe will send them back. Love you all. Peace. Is this gonna work? I recommend putting your opinions aside and learning how to think logically.